Welcome to the Fourth and Long Podcast with your host, Alec Pecada. On the show today, I will give you my Week 1 top 25, my Week 0 game picks, and my head coach's hot seat. Let's hop right into it and start with the Week 1 top 25. Yes, I know it's out this week, but here it is. So my teams, Week 1 top 25 just missed out. I've got James Madison, Memphis, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Iowa, and Miami of Ohio. As you see, there's two teams in here that were not in here in the preseason top 25, and that is Iowa and Memphis. And Miami of Ohio wasn't in here either. Memphis and Iowa were ranked in my preseason top 25. I switched them out. And the reasoning behind that is Memphis still doesn't have a starting quarterback. And Iowa, with their offense, it's kind of hit or miss. We don't know what they're going to get. Miami of Ohio is Miami of Ohio. The other, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and James Madison, I explained why the last episode when I did my preseason top 25, why they are not ranked yet. But let's get into the first half of the top 25. Week 1 top 25, 25 through 21. At number 25, I have South Florida. Kind of self-explanatory here. Brian Hartline is the new head coach. I think he's going to do wonders at South Florida, eventually getting a big-time gig. At number 24 is a new addition to the top 25. It is the Auburn Tigers. Byron Brown's already been named the starting quarterback. Alex Golesh is the head coach there now. I like what Golesh did in South Florida. I think that's going to translate to Auburn in his first season at Auburn. At number 23 is Clemson. It looks like Christopher Fazina is going to be the starting quarterback at Clemson. And we know Clemson knows how to play. They have had serviceable defense the last couple of years, but I think they're going to get back on track there this year. 22 is Baylor. DJ Lagway, big year for Dave Aranda. Number 21 is Southern California, the Trojans. Big year for big year for Lincoln Riley. If he can continue to get the offense to keep clicking, there's no reason that Southern Cal can't be a playoff team this year. At number 20 through 15. And I know it says preseason at the top. I forgot to change that before we started the show. I wanted to start on time. But just imagine it says week 1 up there. So week 1, top 25, 20 through 15. At number 20 is Houston. Connor Wigman has been named the starting quarterback, but they do have Keshawn Henderson behind him. So if Wigman gets hurt or has a bad start to the season, don't be surprised if you see Henderson at quarterback. Number 19 is Michigan. I do like they have some tough games, but I think if they can continue to win, they can move up these rankings throughout the season. These rankings do change every week, as you've seen. At number 18 is BYU. Bear Buckmeyer's back, Kalani Sitake. They go into week 1 as my second highest ranked Big 12 team. At number 17 is Penn State. I'm starting to buy into the hype of Matt Campbell and all the guys he brought over from Iowa State with him to Happy Valley. And I think Penn State could be a sleeper team in the Big Ten this year. 16th is Tennessee. And as of this morning, they have named a starting quarterback, which was one of my drawbacks of why they weren't higher ranked. they have named the 5-star freshman, Faison Brandon, the starting quarterback. And I like that. I called it on Twitter a couple weeks ago. I said Faison Brandon was going to probably be named Tennessee's starting quarterback. And he is. At 15, I have SMU. It seems like the Kevin Jennings injury is minor. And we shall see if we SMU should be a sleeper in the ACC. Now we get to 14 through 8 in my week 1 top 25. Number 14 is Louisville. Leaky Keynotes is the starting quarterback there. And it's Jeff Brom as the head coach. So, self-explanatory. I think they're going to have a really good year. At number 13 is Texas Tech. And here's what I find intriguing all of a sudden. It's Thomas Castellanos was granted another year of eligibility. And it sounds like he might be heading to Lubbock to play for Texas Tech. And I know at Boston College and Florida State, he wasn't very good. But that's because the coaching at those two schools was not very good on offense. I think he could have a big year for Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is my second highest ranked Big 12 team. You'll see who my first highest ranked Big 12 team is in a minute. At number 12 is Notre Dame. We already know CJ Carr is going to be starting quarterback. The main reason they're in this spot is because of Marcus Freeman. If they didn't have Marcus Freeman, I don't know if I would have them ranked. At number 11 is Alabama. And they just named their starting quarterback too. And I like the move. Austin Mack is not going to be the starter. It's going to be the 5-star the 5-star freshman, Keelan Russell. I like that. They're giving the young kid the keys to the offense. We'll see how it works. At number 10, I have Oklahoma. A healthy John Mateer, it sounds like, going into this season. Now, my question to Oklahoma fans is, will Mateer be healthy the entire year? Because we saw last year what happened. He was healthy for a little bit, then leading up to the Texas game, he had that hand injury that he had to get surgery on, and it derailed the rest of his season. Oklahoma somehow made the playoff. And, the rest writes itself. At number 9, I have Miami. Darian, and everybody's hyping up Darian Mensa, saying he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner this year. There hasn't been a single college football game played. So everybody just needs to pump the brakes, calm down. I do think Miami's going to be good this year. But they did lose. I mean, they still have Malachi Tony. They have a good wide receiver room, good running back room. Mark Fletcher Jr. is back. They did lose Francis Mayanoa to the NFL. Ruben Baines gone to the NFL. Keontae Scott, Akeem Mesidor. So there's 4 guys that and Carson Beck. There's 5. 5 guys I just named right there for Miami. That is why I can't put them in the top 7 in my rankings. At number 8 is Utah. And I talked about it in the preseason top 25 video. A podcast episode. Utah has a dilemma at quarterback. And it's a good one to have. They have 2 really good quarterbacks. Bird Ficklin and Devin Dampier. But the reason they're not in the top 7 is because they have a new head coach in Morgan Scalley, who's going into his first full season as the head coach of Utah. I like how they promoted from within. They didn't go out and try to poach a head coach away from a Group of 5 school. They did lose their offensive coordinator, Jason Beck, to Michigan. And now we get into the top 7 of my week 1 top 25. At number 7 is the Texas Longhorns. Again, I said it in the preseason video. I'll say it in this episode. I am not buying into the Arch Manning hype until I see it. They've got Ohio State week 2. That's going to be a big game. And I don't see an avenue where Texas loses that game. Yes, it's a non-conference game. But the committee might take that into further advancement at the end of the season if Texas loses to, let's say, a Texas A&M or a bad SEC team, which we don't know who's going to be bad in the SEC yet. At number 6, I've got Oregon. Again, Oregon's another team. I'm not believing the hype right now. Going into week 0 this week, week 1 next week. Week 1 game picks will be out on the 1st of September, which is next week. But this top 25 stays out until week 2. Week 2 is when I change the top 25 again. But back to Oregon. Dante Moore's back. Decorian Moore is in for his first full season. Evan Stewart's back. Everybody's hyping up this Oregon team saying, oh, Dan Lanning, this is the best team he's had. He could win a national championship. They're forgetting that you got to go through Ohio State, got to go through Indiana, got to go through Washington, who's not ranked right now in my rankings, but you never know. By week 4, these rankings could be different, down the drain. At number 5, I have Georgia. Gunnar Stockton's back. Kirby Mouse Smart back for another year as the head coach of Georgia. I'm not going to get into everything that happens off the field because we'd be here for hours on end if I tried. But Georgia, until somebody knocks them down the pedestal and out of the playoff completely, I can't have Georgia outside the top 5 because I'll just get roasted by SEC people that say, oh, this guy's a Big Ten guy. That's why he's got the top 2 teams from the Big Ten. So I have to fit SEC teams in there somewhere. And the next SEC team I have is Texas A&M. At number 4, Marcel Reed is back. They did lose Casey Concepcion, but Mario Craver's back at receiver. Mike Elko's back, and he's saying this is probably the best defensive line he's had since coming to Texas A&M, and I would believe it. At number 3, I have LSU. Lane Kiffin's there. The rest speaks for itself. Number 2, I have the Buckeyes. And for all the Michigan fans out there, I don't think you want to hear this. Bo Jackson will be the number 1 running back for Ohio State. I know y'all were out there running circles and victory laps because you saw other guys taking number 1 reps for Ohio State in fall camp. But Ryan Day just came out and said the other day, Bo Jackson is the starting running back. He is RB1. On top of that, you've got Brandon Ennis, who's going to wear the block O, and he's a team captain. And you got Jeremiah Smith, who's also going to be a team captain. Austin Saravel's going to be a team captain. Ohio State's reloaded on defense as well. Kenyatta Jackson's back. He was named the team captain. I think Ohio State's going to be just fine. And at number 1, until they lose a game this year, I have the Indiana Hoosiers, the defending national champions. Kirk Cignetti's back for another year, and I don't think Sig is going anywhere. And before we get to my picks for week 0, we are going to do my head coach's hot seat for week 0. And this will be updated next week in week 1. We start, and I have 6 coaches total, 3 for warm seat, 3 on fire. And we start with number 3 on the warm seat right now. It is Maryland head coach Mike Locksley. I don't know how Locksley made it through the coaching carousel last year. That's just me. I couldn't tell you what everybody else thinks, but I thought Locksley should have been fired after last year and that horrendous end of the season. And if Maryland starts the season bad, I could easily see him being one of the coaches that's got the tag of on fire next to his name. Because I will be updating, just like I do my rankings, I will be updating the coach's hot seat every week. And after the show, I will be putting this on the website. So be ready for that. Number 2 is Dabo Swinney at Clemson. And that website is sportsbreakdown.net. Dabo Swinney at Clemson. His seat is warm. Here's the issue. I know everybody probably wants Dabo fired from Clemson. I don't think it happens unless they have a really bad season, which I don't think is going to happen this year. And at number 1, I've got Jeff Lebby with coaches that have a warm seat right now. Jeff Lebby at Mississippi State. If Mississippi State starts the season off 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, easily can see Jeff Lebby getting fired. Now we get to the coaches that have the tag of on fire, and I have 3. Number 3, Bill O'Brien at Boston College. When Bill O'Brien was hired by Boston College, everybody thought, oh, this is going to turn Boston College into a perennial contender in the ACC. Oh boy, were they wrong. Boston College, other than his first season when they went 7-6, Boston College the last 2 years has been awful. And I think if Boston College starts the season off horribly bad, without winning a game through September, I think that Bill O'Brien is going to be gone. He's going to be, see ya, bye. He'll get fired. Number 2 is Derek Mason at Middle Tennessee State. He's another one. I met Derek Mason personally. Nothing against him. Great guy. I don't think he's cut out to be a head coach. I think he's a better coordinator. That's just me. And our number 1 is the most obvious coach that's got the on fire tag on his seat, Mike Norvell at Florida State. If Florida State does not start the season off good, he's gone. Like, there's no way around it. He will get fired. And I hate to say that to Florida State fans, but it's the truth. Your screen. We're going back here, but not for my top 25. Right here. This is what we need. So here are my game picks for week 0 of the college football season. Starting off with North Carolina and TCU. Saw this game last year. North Carolina got absolutely blitz-hogged by TCU. And I think the same thing's going to happen this year. I think TCU beats the brakes off of North Carolina again. And Bill Belichick starts year 2, 0-1. Then we get to San Jose State and Southern Cal. These, I did not put the rankings next to them because there's not that many ranked games. But I think Southern Cal, it's going to be a blowout. I think this game's over by halftime. Southern Cal wins big. We got North Carolina State and Virginia. The rare ACC game, I believe it's an ACC conference game at week 0. And I'm going North Carolina State here. CJ Bailey's back. You got Dave Doran. And I'll talk about Dave Doran a little more after the game picks, because we're not ending the show just yet. But I do like NC State to win. Jacksonville State, North Dakota State. This is an intriguing game to me. I had a tough time choosing a winner. Ultimately, I went with North Dakota State. First game as an FBS team. First game as an FBS football program. I think North Dakota State wins. Jacksonville State has to travel from Alabama across the country to North Dakota, to Fargo. That is not a fun trip. I haven't made that trip, but at some point I probably will, and it'll be from Tennessee to Fargo. My next game is Eastern Michigan and Sacramento State. First of all, RIP to all the bus trips Sacramento State's going to have to take this year. They are going to break travel records. There is absolutely no question about it. But I ended up going Eastern Michigan because this is a home game for EMU. And I think they win. New Mexico State, Florida State. This was another game. I almost went with the upset here and went New Mexico State. But I ended up going Florida State. Florida State's at home in week 0. And I just can't see them losing to New Mexico State. If they do, the Fire Mike Norvell chants are probably going to start, and they're going to be loud. They're going to want Norvell gone immediately if they lose to New Mexico State. Hawaii and Stanford is the next one. And this is another game where I almost went upset, but I ended up going Hawaii. Stanford did a rebuilding year. They did name Davis Warren their starting quarterback, which all glory to him. I don't think it's going to be a good season for Tavita Pritchard and Stanford this year. And the only upset I went with in week 0 is Memphis over UNLV. Aaron Nolan, it looks like he's going to be the starting quarterback for Memphis. I think, and this is the game that closes out the day in week 0. I will be watching it. There's no question about that. If you're enjoying the episode, please like and subscribe. And share the podcast episode with your friends. Trying to push it out to more college football fans. As you know, week 4, I'm going to the Texas-Tennessee game in Knoxville. And I need, if there is any Tennessee students watching it, University of Tennessee, Knoxville students watching this episode, please give me some places to go on campus to eat or to hang out, because I get in the 25th of September. And I'm going to the game the 26th. So give me some ideas of places to go. But let's get back to the episode. So and I'm gonna rant for a minute here. And if you don't want to listen to me rant, go ahead and leave. But I'm sick and tired of them passing new laws in college football, new rules, like the 5x5 rule. Okay, that makes sense. But now you're telling me kids that are already in the NFL can go back to college if they have another year, if they have eligibility left. And I'm sorry, this is the biggest joke ever. Joke. Yes, I said it. It is the biggest joke ever. There's my rant of the week. So we do have a couple starting quarterbacks that were named. First one being Keelan Russell at Alabama. You heard me rank Alabama's quarterback room because we didn't know who the starter was going to be. We know it's Keelan Russell now. I like that DeBoer named him the starter instead of Austin Mack. Everybody was clamoring for Keelan Russell last year when Ty Simpson was there. But I think the reason we didn't see Keelan Russell a lot last year is you had Austin Mack, who was with Kalen DeBoer at Washington. And then the other quarterback name, starting quarterback that got named, was Faison Brandon at Tennessee. And much of a surprise because everybody throughout spring and fall camp for Tennessee was talking about how it was going to be George McIntyre as the starting quarterback. And Faison Brandon basically came out of left field, and he's going to be the quarterback one there in the quarterback one at Tennessee. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up today's episode. It was a shorter one. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow night for Gridiron Talk with Brad. And that's going to be a longer show, probably an hour. But I will see everybody then. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday afternoon.